Okay. I just wanted to probably hopefully this is the last video I make talking about audio equipment for a while. Depending on where you are in the audio world, you'll have different preferences. You have to really think for yourself, because there's a lot of differing opinions on the tuning of audio equipment. So I have my preferences, and I can tell you what my preferences are. There's people that think that, what makes music sound good is a lot of bass and treble dynamics. Dynamics is basically a bass and treble boost, with a high mid scoop for a wide soundstage. So recessed vocals, a lot of powerful bass, a lot of powerful treble, bright, clear, high. That basically makes things sound very high energy, very exciting, very fun, very V-shaped. And I like to think that the equipment that I use is very bright and clear and fun and pleasing to listen to. But people have differing opinions, and honestly, people's opinions change over time in the audio world. And the audio world is very, very nuanced. For example, the worst case scenario for these headphones is people could say that they're extremely bright, they're extremely shrill, they're extremely harsh in the treble. People can say that they have a lot of mid-bass bloat, a lot of mud, at 200 hertz in the mid-bass. Some people can even say that they distort in the bass. These are all valid arguments that, these are capable of distorting. These are capable of sounding extremely harsh and fatiguing in the treble. That these are very warm and muddy. These are all valid arguments. But I could argue that after a few months of use, and the pads start to compress, these are old pads, So as these pads start to compress, they dampen the high frequencies a bit, which gets rid of all of that harshness, all of that shrillness. So after you use these for a few months, they definitely smooth out and they sound a lot better in the treble. And I think they sound very bright, clear, smooth, transparent, sparkly, musical. It's honestly the best treble I've ever heard. It's exactly the way that I want it to be. The argument about the mid-bass bloat that warms up the sound, honestly, if it didn't have that, you could make the argument that if you scoop out that warmth, that mid-bass, a lot of people actually would say that it then sounds thin, that it sounds anemic, that vocals, male vocals and bassy instruments don't have any body to them. So there's an argument for the mid-bass, but it depends on who you ask and the target that you're looking for, the sound signature. And then the bass distortion. Honestly, at normal listening levels, you don't really experience any bass distortion to any meaningful degree, so you kind of have to crank the volume up a lot and listen to nothing but low-end rumble to try to get them to distort. So you kind of have to go out of your way to make them distort. You kind of have to argue that they're bright and harsh if you don't use them for more than a couple of months, with fresh pads. So there's, then there's people that, could argue that they don't even want a bass boost, or they have tinnitus or something, so they don't want bright treble. So there's all these arguments. Some people just want like boring, dark, lifeless, sounding headphones. Some people, so it changes over time. It changes over time. Your preferences for audio equipment. I remember a while back I was saying that I didn't like the Shure SM7B because it needs too much gain. It's not sensitive, which makes the preamp hissy, and it sounds dark and muffled and, woolly. And, I had somebody say that they love the Shure SM7B. I owned it. I thought it was okay. But at the end of the day, I like really bright, clear, articulate, detailed condenser microphones, which is the reason why I have these. And again, for audio equipment, these are both V-shaped. They're both, they have diffuse field treble, a 3 kilohertz scoop, to add width, to get rid of shout. They both have a warm 10 decibel bass boost. So, in my opinion, these are tuned exactly the way that I want them to be. And, so it's very nuanced, and, somebody was asking me to like better teach you guys the lingo, how to like, understand all this stuff. And honestly, even the most experienced audio people have wildly different opinions, different interpretations. All I will say is I like a smooth, transparent response that's very fun and exciting and energetic. And I find that to be the most pleasing sound possible. And if that's not what you're looking for, maybe there's something else out there for you. So I'm definitely going to say that audio is subjective, and your taste will actually evolve over time. So just try not to let people tell you what is best for you, because then you'll never get to the point where you're fully satisfied. So I personally am very excited about the equipment that I use. I find it very enjoyable to use this stuff. And I appreciate the way that it sounds, So, that's all that really matters. And like I said, you'll get different opinions. And honestly, I like that. I don't want everybody to use the same microphone as me. I don't want everybody to use the same headphones as me. I think the majority of people are not going to be using Samsung earbuds. They're going to be using, AirPod Pros because they have an iPhone, not a Android phone. I know plenty of people who think Android phones are outdated dinosaur phones, and you should be using like the iPhone. Why is testing? Why is that side so sensitive? It's so sensitive. It's so sensitive over here. Why is it so sensitive over here? It's so weird. It's like, why is it sensitive over here? Oh, test. Okay, test. Okay, it's just like really sensitive on that microphone for some reason. So again, worst case scenario, you buy these headphones and you're going to be like, oh my god, they're so harsh, they're so shrill, the sibilance is extreme, it sounds like there's snakes in the recordings. But even when you first get these, you should notice that they sound really transparent, except the treble is just absurdly harsh and shimmery. And like I said, that goes away considerably as the pads wear down. It dampens all of that and smooths it out, and you're just left with a very clear sounding headphone that sounds really good, in my opinion. Some people may still think it sounds bright, and that's perfectly fine. Like I said, honestly I would rather see people using a lot of different equipment, even if I think a lot of different equipment sounds funky or bad, or not the way that I would want it. I definitely don't want people to be using always the exact same equipment as me. This is just my favorite equipment. And I've seen a lot of people jump on bandwagons. Somebody could say, wow, this new microphone that just hit the market sounds like a, industry standard multi-$1,000 microphone. And you will see thousands of people go out and buy it just because, somebody said that. So I don't want you to not think for yourself and know why that you're getting a lot of this equipment. I just want you guys to kind of know that like, the main thing is, it requires a lot of experience, and even the most experienced people don't agree with each other. So it's kind of, like I said, a wasted time, to really kind of, and it's the same with everything, I've seen people say that the Razer Death Adder mouse is like, for, people that that aren't cool. Let's just say that people who use this, they want palm grip, so they're not cool. And only people who use like claw grip, which you can actually do on this mouse just fine, claw grip. Palm grip, oh no, palm grip is bad. It's all about the claw grip or the fingertip grip. Honestly, this thing's designed for claw grip too. So, but like, this is, it's kind of like you have something that's really comfortable, really ergonomic. Like you put it in your hand and it feels amazing, and then somebody tells you that it's for dorks or for people that aren't cool, and you should be using a mouse that's like less comfortable, that's solely designed for claw grip, and it doesn't even feel good in claw grip. So you can have people tell you, to use all sorts of equipment that you don't want to use, So, just like I have this keyboard, I talked about this. This is a clicky keyboard. It's very clicky. And there's people that say clickies are, for noobs, clickies are a gimmick, and you should be using linear switch keyboards. So again, you have all these people with different opinions, and it's very, I personally would not listen to it. So if you want to buy something, I highly recommend you learn like what's out there. You learn maybe some of the tools and methods to differentiate what's out there, and then you pick what you think you want. And if you buy it and you don't like it, you learn from it so that you don't buy something similar. Because a lot of times there's very similar products out there, and you think you're like upgrading or getting something different, and it's pretty much the same exact thing. So, you really have to like kind of know what's out there, and being able to kind of see through it all to get rid of it's mainly about like getting rid of all the mystery. There's so much mystery and wonder, so you have to find tools and methods to quickly sift through what's out there, and find exactly what you're looking for. And honestly, you have to do that on your own. You can learn a little bit from people, but once they start talking about their preferences or their perspective on it, you have to take it with a grain of salt and really start to, take the wheel at that point and come to your own conclusions, because at the end of the day, it's about what you want and what you're looking for, and you should not base that on people's opinions, because everybody has different opinions. And somebody could say that these are muddy, that these are harsh, that these distort, when really you could want that warmth because it gives body to vocals and bass, and you could argue that they're only harsh for the first month or two, and then they sound amazing in the treble. And you could say that, like I said, that they don't actually distort. For everyday listening use, you kind of have to go out of your way to make them distort. So again, there's people that use all sorts of equipment and they get the job done and they're happy, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? So I'll see you guys later. I'm not gonna really talk about this stuff anymore anyway. I'm gonna try to move on from this, but I just kind of wanted to share with you guys, I really do love this equipment and kind of share it with you. And if you're looking for something else, that's perfectly fine, because a lot of people don't like this equipment. A lot of people think my microphones sound too bright, too sibilant. They pick up too much ambient noise. A lot of people think my headphones, have all these problems. Same with the earbuds, So everybody has differing opinions. There's literally people out there that hate everything that I use. People hate the clicky keyboard. People hate the ergonomic palm grip mouse. People who hate just about everything that I'm using. So it's up to you to decide what you want to use. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.